Okay, imagine being born from sea foam after a god, let's say, violently snipped, then growing up to become the most irresistible being in the universe. That's Aphrodite. She didn't just make people fall in love, she made them go completely crazy. They cheated, started fights, even turned into birds sometimes. Yeah, she's the goddess of love. But her kind of love? It's not sweet. It's wild, jealous, and sometimes really dangerous. Oh, and guess what? She's kind of the reason the Trojan War started. All because of one shiny apple. Her name's Aphrodite, goddess of love, beauty, seduction, and all the spicy chaos that comes with it. Worshipped by millions, feared by wise, and blamed for more breakups than Instagram DMs. But behind the glowing hair and perfect face, she's complicated. Let's break it down. So, where did Aphrodite come from? Well, depends on who you ask. But heads up, both versions are kind of wild. In the original Greek myth, the one that's, let's say, a bit more unfiltered, Aphrodite wasn't born like your typical baby. She literally rose from sea foam. And not just any sea foam. Let me break it down. There was this ancient sky god named Uranus, basically the guy version of the sky. He had a bunch of kids with Gaia, the Earth. But here's the thing, he was a major control freak. He couldn't stand some of his kids, especially the ones with too many arms or way too many eyes, so he shoved them back inside Gaia, the Earth itself. Yes, that's just as gross and painful as it sounds. Gaia got fed up and said, "All right, who wants to help me take out your dad?" Enter Cronus, one of their kids, and clearly not a fan of family therapy. He signs up, but his idea of helping is full-on Greek drama. Cronus ambushes Uranus and chops off his Olympic jewels with a sickle. Yep, that part. He hurls them into the ocean, and from the waves and the foam bubbling around those floating bits, Aphrodite rises, fully grown. No diapers. No awkward puberty. Just bam. Glowing. Radiant. Ready for drama. She steps onto the shore of Cyprus, and just like that, boom. Goddess of love, here to break hearts, start wars, and maybe turn someone into a bird. Now, in the PG-rated version, some later sources claim Aphrodite was actually the daughter of Zeus. Yes, that Zeus, and a lesser-known Titaness named Dion. It's tidier. Softer. Way less gory. Whichever version you pick, one thing's the same, Aphrodite didn't grow up. She just showed up, gorgeous, powerful, and already making the gods sweat. Aphrodite isn't your typical love goddess tossing roses and spreading wedding day joy. She's the living, glowing force of desire, the kind that makes people act wild, impulsive, and sometimes start full-blown wars. She wasn't here for peace and quiet. She turned beauty into a weapon. With just a look, she could make kings drop their crowns, gods trip over themselves, and mortals lose all common sense. And don't let the charm fool you. When she felt disrespected, Aphrodite could go full-on savage. Petty curses, divine grudges, multi-generational chaos, all on the table. Basically, she's that stunning person who knows they're stunning, and uses it like it's their superpower. Thought Aphrodite, the goddess of love, would have some sweet fairy tale marriage. You clearly haven't read a single Greek myth, because her love life was less romance novel, more slow burn sitcom with bonus betrayal arcs. So here's how it played out. Aphrodite shows up on Olympus looking like walking perfection, and every god instantly goes dibs. So Zeus, ever the self-declared problem solver, decides to marry her off to someone safe. Someone chill, harmless, definitely not a threat. Enter Hephaestus, god of fire, metalwork, blacksmithing, all things forge-related. Sweet, quiet, brilliant inventor. But let's just say, not exactly Olympus' resident heartthrob. He's usually described as lame, even born with a disability. So naturally, Zeus thinks, perfect. No drama here. Spoiler, massive drama incoming. Aphrodite, being Aphrodite, wasn't exactly thrilled about being handed over like a wedding prize. She played along, sure, smiled for the ceremony. But then she started spending a lot of time with Ares, the god of war, because Ares was the exact opposite of Hephaestus, shredded, loud, violent, huge ego, no thoughts, just vibes, and abs. You get the picture. And yep, Aphrodite and Ares start a full-blown affair. No shame, no subtlety, not even trying to hide it. Even Helios, the literal sun, was like, should someone maybe tell her husband? Hephaestus, bless him, says nothing. He just quietly gets to work. And by work, I mean, he builds a trap. A golden net so fine it's invisible, but so strong no one can break it. He sets it up right above their bed. One day, while Aphrodite and Ares are enjoying some quality time, the net drops. Boom. Caught mid-act. Tangled. Stuck. And what does Hephaestus do? He sends out invites to all the Olympian gods. Because if he's going through heartbreak, everyone's going to witness it. And when the gods show up, they stare. And then they laugh. Loudly. It's petty. It's awkward. It's Olympus in full form. Some try to be polite and look away. Some lean in. One god shrugs and says, well, I've seen worse. So what happened after Hephaestus caught them? He dragged Aphrodite and Ares, still tangled in the net, before the gods and demanded compensation. Zeus noped out of the drama, but Poseidon stepped in and promised Ares would pay. Hephaestus released them. Ares ran off to Thrace. Aphrodite returned to Cyprus. And their marriage? Basically over in spirit, even if not officially. Aphrodite went right back to doing what she does best, loving freely, breaking hearts, and never once saying sorry. All right, next up, Aphrodite's starring role in kicking off one of the biggest, bloodiest wars in mythology. And yep, it all started with a party and a piece of fruit. So the gods are throwing this big wedding feast. Everyone's invited except Eris, the goddess of discord. Which, looking back, was probably not the best idea. Because Eris doesn't handle being left off the guest list quietly. She crashes the party anyway and casually tosses a golden apple onto the table. What's written on it? Just 3 little words, to the fairest. Immediately, 3 goddesses lock eyes. Hera, queen of the gods. Athena, goddess of wisdom and war. And, of course, Aphrodite. Each one instantly assumes the apple's meant for her. And boom, this divine celebration turns into mean girls, Mount Olympus. Since they can't agree, shocking, they decide to let someone else decide who's the fairest. But not a wise elder god or a neutral force of judgment. Nope, they pick a mortal, a Trojan prince named Paris. He's good-looking, yes. Smart? Not so much. The 3 goddesses show up and don't even try to play fair. They straight up bribe him. Hera says, pick me and you'll rule the world. Athena offers, choose me and you'll never lose a war. Aphrodite? She keeps it simple. I'll give you the most beautiful woman alive. And Paris, being Terrace, picks Aphrodite. Because of course he does. One tiny catch? That beautiful woman Aphrodite meant was Helen of Sparta. She's already married. To Menelaus, a powerful Greek king with zero chill when it comes to losing his wife. Paris takes her anyway. Aphrodite makes sure it happens. Menelaus flips out. The Greeks rally. Swords, ships, and rage follow. And just like that, boom, the Trojan War begins. 10 years. Thousands dead. A legendary city reduced to rubble. All because 3 goddesses wanted to win a beauty contest. And one mortal prince couldn't say no to a pretty face. Now here's a tale that sounds like the original Build-A-Girlfriend fantasy. And yes, of course Aphrodite's in the mix. Who else? Once upon a time in Cyprus, there lived a sculptor named Pygmalion. Brilliant artist. Social skills? Not so much. According to the myth, he basically given up on real women, said they were too flawed, too dramatic, or just didn't live up to his sky-high standards. So he did what any emotionally constipated man with god-tier sculpting talent might do. He carved his dream girl. From ivory. Every detail perfect. Every curve just right. Graceful, silent, flawless. And, obviously, not alive. But that didn't stop him. He named her Galatea. Dressed her. Talked to her. Kissed her goodnight like it was totally normal. Basically, guy falls head over heels for his own art project. Eventually, even he realizes, I might actually be in love with a statue. I need help. So he does the only logical thing an ancient Greek man can do. He prays to Aphrodite. Please let my sculpture be real. And Aphrodite? She hears him. Maybe it's his passion. Maybe it's the craftsmanship. Or maybe she just looks at this poor guy and goes, okay, bless his heart. Either way, she answers. He comes home, touches Galatea's hand. And it's warm. The ivory softens. The statue breathes. Galatea opens her eyes. Aphrodite makes her real. They get married. Ride off into the mythological sunset. Apparently, it's a happy ending. So yeah, Aphrodite isn't just about lust, scandal, and chaos. She's also the goddess who can turn fantasy into flesh. Because when you pray to Aphrodite, you will get what you ask for. Just maybe not the way you expected. Even today, Aphrodite is everywhere. You just might not notice her at first. In Percy Jackson, her kids are total heartbreakers with killer fashion sense. In Hades, she's all charm, power, and flirt-heavy damage boosts. In God of War, let's just say she's very much rated She's not just a goddess anymore. She's a full-on brand. Aphrodite didn't rise from royalty. She rose from chaos, fully formed and impossible to ignore. She's not the goddess of quiet, careful love. She's the spark of wanting, the beauty that stirs trouble, the desire that rewrites fates. She didn't just inspire love. She started wars, broke gods, and made even statues fall. Aphrodite isn't just a myth. She's a force. Proof that love isn't soft or simple. It's wild, unruly, and never plays nice. If you enjoyed that dive into divine drama, hit like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments, was Aphrodite misunderstood or the ultimate chaos queen? And which mythological figure should we cover next? Medusa? Loki? Maybe Hera's revenge tour? Stick around because in mythology, the gods are messy. And we love to watch.